The children of undocumented immigrants are caught between two cultures, often with stronger ties to the U.S. than Mexico. They face what new immigrants have lived with throughout history, outright discrimination, as well as serious questions about their right to pursue the American dream. John Flores didn't grow up on the wrong side of the tracks.
No, we were in the middle of the tracks.
Literally in between the tracks at 7th South and 6th West, he and two older siblings lived in an old rail car, his Mexican dad a laborer for the railroad. John never knew his 9 even older siblings.
They all died of different diseases, They didn't have health care at that time.
Flores was born in Salt Lake City, a U.S. citizen. He doesn't know if his parents were here legally at that time, although they did re-enter the U.S. again later and became legal residents.
I saw the University of Utah up there, but that was a far-off place. The best I thought I could be would be the switchman.
3/4 of a century later, 2 young women have grown up in the shadows.
We were little. We knew that we were here legal.
They are sisters who moved to the U.S., children of migrant workers.
I grew up here. I had American babysitters. I'm more American than Mexican because I was raised here.
In Flores's childhood, there was hostility even for those here legally.
Yes, gross discrimination. I was called the savage. I was called the dirty Mexican.
But his family drilled some advice into him.
They said, no trabajas como burro, don't work like a donkey, get an education.
He took the advice all the way to that faraway place on the east side. Honor roll, master's degree, a professorship. He was appointed to White House positions 4 times. He was Deputy Assistant Secretary of Labor, a top aide to Senator Orrin Hatch, all of which gave him insight into our complicated attitudes about immigrants.
The history of this country is one of immigrants coming in to fill the workforce needs of this country.
The undocumented sisters started with ambitions similar to Flores.
I was an A student. I was a student of the month, teacher aide. I was getting scholarship, but I turned down because of my status.
She feared someone would ask for legal papers or a Social Security number, so she didn't take the scholarships. Now she works 3 jobs, hoping someday to get into college in spite of her illegal status.
If I could have those papers in my hand, I know I will give it my 100%.
Her younger sister got into college by keeping her legal status secret. She left blank the space for her Social Security number.
I would hope that people would understand and be more open-minded and open-hearted to the fact that we're trying to make a living here as well. We're trying to progress as well as you are.
John Flores thinks his story would not have been much different if he had been undocumented. Legal status didn't used to make much difference, he says, but in the post-9/11 world, it does.
It's tough economic times, and when things are tough, we look for scapegoats.
Clearly, many people think legal status should matter. At a town hall meeting, a questioner worried about legalizing people already here.
Given your support of the DREAM Act, how can you convince me that you're not going to support further legislation that incentivizes illegals to come to Utah and to this country?
Senator Hatch told the crowd he does not support amnesty, but he expressed compassion for the children.
A lot of these kids are brought in as infants. They don't even know that they're not citizens until they graduate from high school. And if they've lived good lives and they've done good things, why would we penalize them and not let them at least go to school?
In a written statement later, Hatch said he does not favor a special path to citizenship for such children, a view shared by Sherilyn Eager of the Coalition on Illegal Immigration.
Send them back to their home of origin and allow them to come back through and do it legally. It's going to benefit everybody.
But John Flores thinks Utah shouldn't turn its back on promising kids who could turn out to be a strength if America would allow it.
We have the potential of Bill Gates, Maurice Warsaw, Bill Marriott sit in those classrooms right now.
We have to follow the rule of law. And if we keep sending that message that we are not going to follow the rule of law, we will keep compounding this problem.
If I could, I would change it. If I was a bit older when this happened, or if I knew the situation that we were going to get into, I would have begged my parents to have done it the right way.
There's one thing those sisters and Cheryl and Eager might agree on. Living in the shadows forces them into a secretive subculture and makes it difficult to fully assimilate. But it's one thing to agree on a problem, quite another thing trying to agree on a solution.